Okay, folks, let's see if we can kind of pick up where we left off here. And let's fire this thing up as well. We got a lot of painting done this last weekend. And let's see, can we change that chat from here? We can. Got a lot of painting done this weekend. None of it was airbrushing. So I don't know whether that's good or bad, but we didn't get a chance to do any of that. Even though I think I did a deep clean on the airbrush. I'll have to wait till this week. Probably really don't want to try it on the sealer because the sealer is one of those things that it's going to gum it all up. What is this other commercial that I did not choose? I would choose a much better commercial for you guys. And no mid-rolls. Let's switch this out. Oh. One more. We can do it. All right. And let's flip this around so you guys don't think I'm some left-handed person. You're disappointed when you see me in real life and I'm right-handed. All right. There we go. So what we were working on is these Panzer 38Ts this weekend. We got one of them completely done, other than being sealed. It still needs to be sealed. And then we're nearly done on this other one, except we need to paint the baggage. So hopefully we can get that done this morning, and that's where we're going to, and then we'll get that one done, and then we'll have the third one to do. We have 3 that we're going to make of this unit, 20th Panzer Division, and then we'll roll into the other 3, which I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't know what unit it's going to be. Well, it's going to be either the 8th or the 19th. Probably the 19th. So, yeah. All right, so back to this little guy. Now, the turret's done other than the little rust stains and this little padding thing on the back. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. It's my tradition on St. Patrick's Day and to do this. I'm about as Irish as I'm not Irish at all, but that's okay. I have an Irish wolfhound I painted, Odago. I have an Irish army. Honorary Irish. I probably should be doing this while I'm drinking. It certainly would be more entertaining, but maybe not for me. Not when I sobered up would it be entertaining, but it is a work day, so we will not be doing that. If it had been Saturday or Sunday, we'd do a shot or two. Okay, so we've got some tarps here that we need to do. This large one, I don't want it to be some really loud ass color. So I'm going to get the color that like the Zeltbahn is done in, which is the shelter quarter. Let's put analytics up. Okay. German World War II beige. It's this color right here. That's going to be one of them that we're going to do. You don't want to use colors that are really bright for these tarps. And I'm not going to spend, you love Juice World. Excellent. One that's got a little bit of color, but not like too crazy. US Olive Drab. That's too. I could probably do one of these smaller ones in that and probably be okay. Using that as a base. How am I? I'm doing great. Well, I am right now, but then later on I got to go to work, so my day's gonna go south. How are you? How do you know you're gonna have a bad day at work? Well, let's see. I've worked there for 30 fucking years. I think I have a clue. It's a shit show, and sometimes you're the main event. Every time I try to be optimistic, I'm like, yep, yep. This refractive green isn't too bad. What's the difference between these two? This one's a little bit more brown. Let's use the olive drab that's a little green, and we're going to paint this item right here up in the front. Oh, we don't need to use one of those. We've got plenty of these that are unused. Top of the morning. I hope you have a good day too, man. You subscribe. That's the best thing you can do. Maybe, just maybe, I'll do something here that'll be like, huh, that's pretty cool. I'll look into this. How you doing, Marcus? Happy McGreen Day to you. Are you part Irish? You're more Irish than I am. I think only one day I've ever done something for St. Patrick's Day. It falls on Mondays. Like, what the hell am I going to do? Irish dilemma: eat potato or Irish jokes are welcome. Any kind of jokes are welcome. Irish dilemma: eat potato or let it ferment. I could be wrong. Aren't potatoes from the New World? So what did they eat in? If that's correct, then what did they eat in Ireland before they discovered the New World? What do you do for work? Oh, we can't talk about that. I tell people where to go and they don't listen frequently. Yes, I'm the classic Scots, English, Irish, maybe a bit of Polish though. Are you 1/16th Cherokee? Basically, the people all those places didn't want. Well, it's not that they didn't want you. It's not that they didn't want you, Marcus. It's that they were fed up with you. You had just about enough of you. You love potatoes. I'm pretty sure everybody likes potatoes. I'm pretty sure everybody likes potatoes. Man, when I went on that, I want to say it was on the flight. I think it was on the flight to Europe that they served us parsnips. And holy cow, those things were good. It was like half sweet potato, half potato, and yeah, that was some good stuff. And I've never eaten parsnips before. I've only heard of parsnips. I think they're in Rabbit's Garden on Winnie the Pooh, right? Isn't that one of those things that he's always growing? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to revisit your childhood. Actually, that wouldn't do any good. Revisit your childhood. You would just go through the same thing. You need to revisit somebody else's childhood. Corned beef, cabbage, carrots, potatoes is I prefer pastrami to corned beef only because it has more flavor. Because the sin of food is that it's bland, and corned beef, although isn't bland, is more bland than pastrami, and they're still like the same thing. Or I don't have a problem with any of those items. I think that what's that thing that shepherd's pie thing they eat? I think it's a little lackluster. You know, it could be better than that. Hold on a second. Wait, I'm gonna head to bed, so I hope you have a great day, man. All right, you too, man. Hope you had a good day. In that case, I got 12 corned beefs from the store. Good deal. $2.49 a pound. That's not beef. Where's the beef? It's not in that $2.49. We bought ground beef supposedly at a good deal at the store this weekend, and it was 3 times more than I remember it being. But we don't really eat beef that often. And steaks, I don't know who the hell can afford to eat steaks. Like it's cheap. I think it's cheaper to go to a restaurant and get your own damn steak. And then if somebody fucks up and cooks it wrong, which it usually isn't an issue for me, because I like things that are closer to shoe leather. My wife likes things that are usually closer to, so normally $10 a pound. Wow. I don't believe I don't think you pluralize that correctly. I don't think it's 12 corned beefs. I think it's corned beefaces. You got any of that corned beefage? It's French. It's corned beefage. Oh. I think at some point I probably am going to do French tanks. 1940 French tanks. Not those stupid looking Shermans with the big diamond. You know what I'm talking about, Marcus. They look silly. Like, get your own tanks. I think they look cool. I think as I've gotten on painting, I paint wetter than I used to. And I don't know why that is. Catching myself painting wetter. Ron has some seriously amazing models. I'm going to order a Samoa in your next round. Unfortunately, no drinking. See, I drink so little, I don't need to cut back. People say, oh man, I go on a diet. I need to cut out beer. I can't cut out beer. I don't have any. You know? This is all carbs, but it's not beer. I really drink so little. I like to talk about it. And I behave a lot better drinking. Huh? But I never drank. I'm always thinking. I guess if you're drinking, you're always thinking, but you're always thinking wrong. We thought we were going to go out tonight, but I don't think we're going to. There's this brewery right next to where I work, and I think they got like the atmosphere. I like the atmosphere because it's very clean. It's like a clean industrial. Like the place is really, really new. And they made it look like it's an industrial and there's a lot of stainless steel and there's good light and it's a happy place. But I don't like their beer. It's excruciatingly hoppy. All of it. It's like this is not how you make beer, You want the Spain every Spanish beer I put in my mouth. What? Excuse me. What did you just say? Every Spanish beer I put in my mouth was great, and this brewery is it's a shame. I don't know why people like those damn IPAs so much. It's like it makes you so damn thirsty when you're drinking it. I can drink it, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, if I'm gonna pay for something, that's not what I'm gonna pay for. Okay, that doesn't look half bad. That doesn't look half bad. Now, so we can say the difference. So we can see that. So we can say the difference. So we can see the difference. This was reflective green. Where is the olive drab? It's not different enough. Let's use we're going to use gray green for the big nasty. A Russian uniform for the big nasty. Let's do Russian uniform for the big nasty. Because this one's kind of a tan back, and then we'll use a little tan one down here. Just to mix it up. To fool your eye. Otherwise you're like, ah, this is a lot of the same thing. Holy smokes. You work at a sewer plant. Oh man. There's one pump station that smells of finest hops. For real. I love lighter beers too. Well, I don't mind heavy beers. Like I like wheat beers, but I think I have a mild wheat allergy, so I get really red. It's nothing like I feel bad. It's just uncomfortable. Blondes is what I like. I mean, in beer, I'm not necessarily. Yeah, depends on the blonde, but I mean, as far as beer goes, blonde ales I like generally. Um, but I like everything. I mean, I actually prefer to sip on a whiskey. So if this had been a night, I'd have my little shot of whiskey and I'd be sipping on it. Just for just because I said I'd be doing it. That'd be the only reason why. Just like when I was painting Russians one time, I had my vodka out here, and I was sipping on the vodka, and I never even got a buzz. But I also had very little overall. It's this experience. I mean, alcohol is just not a big. It's not a big deal for me, and you just treat it like an appetizer. Don't get full on an appetizer. It's an experience enhancer. But I can't cut it out. If I'm on a diet, I can't cut alcohol out of my diet because I never drink. That'd be like saying, all right, well, we need to save money, so no more skydiving. I've never been skydiving and never will go skydiving, so that's kind of a mute point. All right. How is this Russian uniform different than this color over here? Let's see, this refractive green, this is one of these things, if I was painting Soviets, I'd mix it into the uniform. Because I can't paint every Soviet guy in the same damn base color, right? Because the clothes are going to fade a little bit. When it's that time of the month and they run through a river and and their clothes get washed by running through the river, they're going to be different. I do the same thing with the Americans and the British and the Germans I don't like doing, like that's why I don't like painting like soldiers like a squad at a time. I like painting them by the each, so they vary a little bit. Hop beer nasty. Why does everybody make beer so damn hoppy? I mean, if I want something that's hoppy, hoppy reminds me of the that's left on your tongue from having gin. And I don't dislike gin at all. As a matter of fact, I like it. But I expect that when I'm getting gin, not when I'm having a beer. Um, Sam Adams cherry wheat beer is great. Huh. Um, I want to say there's a winter ale that I had, but beer can vary a lot depending on whether or not you get it out of whether it's a bottle or it's out of a keg, and the keg is the best way, obviously. Cans, not a canned beer. As a matter of fact, we had in the last couple of months, we were at the store and like, let's have some beer at the house because if we do any grilling or anything like that, I'm not going to grill without having a freaking beverage in my hand. Them's the them's the rules. I didn't make them. That's what the rules are, right? Not get trashed, but enjoy beer. And so I was going through the store, and I normally don't buy canned beer, but they had this variety pack, and there was one of them left. And it's a beer brand I generally like. It's the what's the one called, the Hawaiian one. Um, can't Kona. It's the Kona ones, and it was like a variety pack of the Konas. And I'm like, okay, I like that one, and I like that one. Like, let's get this one. And I opened one up, and it was terrible. I don't know whether it had been sitting around on a delivery truck a long time or something, but it didn't taste like what it's supposed to taste like. And that's like something that I've had a lot, the I forget what the name of it, longboard, and one of them's a little hoppy, but it's okay. It's got good flavor, and it was like terrible. So like, great. Now I got 15 other freaking beers, but I rarely buy beer. I always have liquor in the house, always, because I get it or it's given to me, and like I don't drink it enough. So if you want to come over for drinks later tonight, that's pretty big. That's like one of those parachutes that, remember the parachutes that they did in elementary school. You get all the kids out there with a big parachute, and you'd hold it. And, all right, everybody together, and everybody in, everybody hold it down. And I always like the parachute games. Beer that tastes like burnt coffee. I had beer one time that smelled like weed. I don't know if it tasted like weed because I've never had that shit, but it smelled like weed. I'm like, now one of the coolest thing I've ever had is we took a trip to one year to North Carolina, and there's this place in Asheville called the Urban Orchard, and it's a brewery. They got food there too. The food they have there is really good, and we did this flight of ciders, and they had one cider there that was infused with jalapeno. And in the middle of taking a drink out of it, it goes from apple, turns to jalapeno. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's like, damn, this is well put together. Because sometimes something will have like a really good taste, and then like I had something the other day. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a soup or something. I think, did you like the taste of it? I said it started off great, and a couple seconds later, the taste is gone from your mouth. It disappears. Or sometimes there's something that's lingering in your mouth that you don't like. But that jalapeno cider was incredible. Incredible. Again, we just had one flight. It's not like, all right, give me 12 of them. Like, no, that's not the point. That'd be like going to a restaurant. What's the point? Eating so much to throw up. No, no. And we spent a good amount of this weekend at home. And when you don't have any plans and you spend them at home, a weekend seems a lot longer. So you have like a 2-day weekend, seems like a 4-day weekend. And that's good because last week sucked. All right, now that looks pretty dark, but we're going to lighten that thing up. Have we used the straight color yet? I think we. No, we had not. Now I don't have the Osprey book on tank tarps of the Panzer. I think they're coming out with that one in a couple of years, but this seems like a reasonable color that some tarp could be. They have all those a weird, odd things. There's a guy at work who's an electrician, electronics tech. He was a professional beer tasting person, went all over the world tasting beer and judging. He said passing beer tasting to get certified was the hardest test he'd ever had to pass. Not joking. Wow. You had a flight in a microbrewery in Pittsburgh, agave based, no one could drink it. Welcome, Phil. Agave based, agave beer. There's this recipe of a margarita that uses beer. That's kind of backwards from what you said, but that actually was pretty good. I mean, it was like tastes like a margarita, but it was a Corona that was in it. That was weird. Tarp color is a mystery. I've used from tan brown to dark gray. Yeah, if only they had color pictures all over the place. You know, they had color pictures, but then the problem with some of those old color pictures is, it's any color but that. Right? Because it's tampered, it's changed, so it's definitely not that. It's like when you ask somebody, it's like, what color is black? What colors can you make to use black? Dude, you use all the colors. I'm like, okay, have fun here. Have your little red, your blue, and your yellow, and make black. Have fun with that. Phil, you're in Spain, aren't you? I think you're in Spain, and they haven't figured out you're there. Gotta keep a low profile. Okay? My daughter went to Portugal um, over the weekend, over a long weekend. I guess she had a long weekend. She went to Portugal. And I asked her, said, okay, so how'd you communicate with those people? Because I can't understand Portuguese. Like, write it down for me, we can communicate. Speak it to me, don't know what you're saying. Don't know if you're talking about the grass or fishing. I have no idea what you're saying. And she said that everybody spoke English. But the Portuguese and the English are, they've had what somebody said was like a longest alliance or something like that. They've been buddies since before the Napoleonic Wars. Marbella. You must have driven past to On A17. Yeah, we went from Gibraltar all the way through. We stopped at a little hobby store that Jose recommended, and I can never remember Fuente Gironda or something like that. I don't know what the hell the name of that place is. Just before Malaga, we had lunch in Malaga, and then we drove up through to Granada because we had to make it from Gibraltar to Granada in one day. And we didn't see much of Granada um, other than the Alhambra. And I tell you what, I would not have liked the Alhambra at all had we not taken a guide out because it's cool, but it's a lot of the same thing. And if they didn't explain, okay, this room is for this and this room is for that, this room is for the other thing, I personally would have been like, okay, because there's a couple things that I didn't know that I learned about the Middle Eastern slash Muslim culture, Moorish culture while I was there. And the thing that surprised me the most is that whole we were in what was the name of the town we were in? Segovia. We're in Segovia between the Alcázar and the little town, and it's a residential area. And you're going through these roads that you can get a car through some of them, but they're very, very rustic. And we're walking them, and it's fine walking, but you're looking at these buildings, and you're going, these buildings are 1,000 years old, or parts of the buildings are 1,000 years old, and they look like shit. Like they should fix this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, our hotel is here. I'm like, this is kind of like a fucking dump. And then you get into the hotel, and it's like, oh, and we were walking on these streets. There are all these like hotels and entrances to the hotels are like these little, not Airbnbs, but boutique type of hotels, and they all look like crap on the outside. And when you turned into the door, it was like it was great. And apparently, that's a Muslim or Moorish influence that you don't care what it looks like on the outside. The beauty is for the people that are in there that live within. And then once I heard that, I'm like, all right, we're cool with this because it's like, man, take some pride in your damn buildings. It's almost like why paint the outside? Somebody's just going to rub their dirty hands all over it, get it all nasty. But that kind of surprised me. I wasn't used to, see in the United States, people do the opposite. People drive a Mercedes and then live in a trailer. A destroyed old trailer. So there it's backwards. But there was a lot of rundown looking places on the outside, and on the inside they were just fine. So yeah, Gibraltar was weird. Gibraltar was not what I was expecting. Um, I don't mean in a bad way. It was just I was expecting A and I got Q. So Fuengirola, that's what it is. Portuguese difficult, but did she enjoy the trip? Yeah, she went with some people from school. They said a really long bus ride, and you were in upstate New Hampshire. New Hampshire at a beer place, had a bear's head with 10-point deer antlers mounted on it. Called it a beer. Called it a beer. Completely agree. Guide is really worthwhile to Alhambra a couple times. No, Granada is cool. We never saw much of it because we had to spend so much. Everything was around going to the Alhambra, and you had to pre-plan. We had to get our time there, and we saw all of it. But we got this guide that spoke both languages. We want a guide that speaks both because my daughter is um, my daughter isn't as vocabulary savvy as the wife and I are. Um, Now we didn't need a guide in Alcázar, not the yeah, we didn't have a guide in Alcázar and Segovia, and we didn't have a guide in um, my favorite place, El Escorial. I love El Escorial. I was the guide at El Escorial. Like I've been looking at that shit for a decade, not really more than a decade, but El Escorial was great. And Escorial was great because they arranged it. You had to go in the order so you didn't miss anything. You didn't have to walk over anything twice. So you got to see everything, and you saw everything, and you didn't have to you're like, crap, I'm walking past this hall 40 times. You're being efficient. So Man, I love that Ecuador, you know. And the one that was laid out really poor was El Prado. And El Prado was laid out really poor because I knew we didn't have time to see everything, nor that I want to see everything. There's just some artwork that just doesn't speak to me. But I'm like, okay, I want to see all the Velasquez stuff and the Greco things, the statues of the kings that are done and all. I wanted to see all that stuff. And it's like jumbled. I mean, it took me, I had to ask like six different people, okay, where the hell is the picture? I didn't say it that way. I almost did on the sixth time I had to ask somebody. I'm like, where the hell is the picture of the siege of Breda, of the surrender of Breda? Like, I've been all over the place. I haven't been able to freaking see it. Oh, that's over here. And you go over there, I wasn't there. Like, dude, you work at the museum. It's like a famous painting. Like, what the hell? But yeah, Ed Coriel was awesome. And the trip, Westminster was awesome too. But the problem with Westminster is that there's things of all different periods in there. And if you're not really familiar with a lot of the stuff, you'll have something here. It has nothing to do with what's right next to it. It has nothing to do with the other thing next. So it's like all out of period. And a lot of those effigies of the kings, I think I used that correctly. The sculpture that the king is on, you know, their sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is up 10, 11, 12 feet in the air, and you're at ground level. You can't see what the top of the sarcophagus looks like. So there might be like this cool, like, um, effigy of one of the English kings, and you can't see what it looks like because it's all the way up there, and you're down here. Like, it's like a missed opportunity, you know. So, um, very Roman, also courtyard, courthouse mentality. Yeah, yeah, I wish I had one. We know a couple of people that live in a house that's like that. I mean, it looks like a normal American house on the outside, or maybe Spanish influenced Miami type house. And you go inside, there's a courtyard, and that's kind of cool because if you want to do something private outside, nobody's sitting there peeking on you. Like I've got an acre here, and they're building these two-story houses like right behind us, and they're going to be like, so I think we need to put some bamboo up their ass, cover the whole thing in bamboo and go fly a kite, you know. But yeah, a lot of courtyards, a lot of courtyards. Man, I missed the Spanish beer. I would have never thought there'd be beer in Spain worth a shit. I mean, it's like beer, Spain? Come on. I mean, Italian beer, there might be decent Italian beer, okay? I've had two Italian beers in the States. I'd rather drink water. Thank you. Don't be hating on Italians. I'm not. You guys just can't make beer. It's okay. You can't be good at everything. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit because it's a little too rustic. The one that I really was happy how it turned out was that tarp on that ambulance. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this tarp on the ambulance? Just start doing it and tinker with it. Don't analysis paralysis yourself to death. You'll never get anything done. Now, if there's one thing I need to work on, that I'm not happy with how my painting is, and I'm pretty happy with how my painting is, but I'd say my weak point in my painting is the way that I paint. I start with like the most negative color, the one that has the most black, and work my way up. And I always do that. But I think that if I'm doing something that doesn't have really deep crevices, like a tarp, a pillow, if I was going to paint a pillow doesn't have really deep crevices. I need to start not as black. And I haven't put enough thought into that. I need to be a little bit more conscious of it. Because there's a couple things that I've done, and I'm like, man, I wish the creases weren't so dark in this. And it's because, I should have started halfway instead of all the way. But that's good. It gives me something to work on. And it's not really disappointing. It's just, it could be better. Now I'm going to add more water to this so that the color spreads a little bit more. Let's make sure on the high points we definitely have. I'll be curious if this thing looks okay when I'm done, because this is my first attempt really making things out of green stuff, free-form things out of green stuff. And I can't wait to do more things out of green stuff, because yeah, see, I think this is there's too much negativity here. The dark is a little too dark. That's a little better. Now, let's really lighten up these ties. Let's get rid of the turret. And I'd love to make these videos of how to do this or how to do that, stuff that I found, like shortcuts that might help a lot of people. But I was really discouraged trying to do the last video, and then I was doing a video on how to paint. I forget what it was. And I got halfway through it filming. I mean, I was like bringing the color of the camera and, showing people stuff like that. And then I come to find out all my painting was out of register. I got no way to check what I'm doing because I can't look at it while it's happening. And I was just really discouraged doing that. And then some people were like, I don't have time to watch your 3.5 minute video. Well, then I don't have time to give away all my secrets. Like, dude, like put some time into it. Like, we're only asking you for 3 fucking minutes. Like, everybody's on AD&D, everybody's in AD&D. Everybody's playing AD&D. Everybody's in too big of a hurry for everything. But I personally get turned off I'm the opposite. I get turned off by videos that things are happening too fast in them. I get turned off by, a video where somebody's explaining something and it's edited so short that there's no, let's say, white space between everything they're saying, and they're literally like talking over themselves. And I'm like, dude, you're like, I'm just listening to you and you're rushing me. Like, chill out, man. Too much of that. Like, I'm not interested in doing that. This video is only 5 seconds long. I'd watch it if it was 30 seconds long. I'm the opposite. I don't want to be rushed. As you say, there are war games models. I think it looks great. Yeah, but it feels good to improve on yourself. I mean, there's times where I'm doing this, and I go in and I take pictures, and I'm like, because I have really good lighting here, but you take it outside and it looks different. You take it in different light, and I took it one place, and I was like, man, it looks good. Because for me, it's like it's being inspired, painting things that inspire, get juices flowing inside of you to learn about the history. So you're like, man, that is so freaking cool. Let me learn more about whatever that might be. I do my own stunts. I think it was a spider. Why are so many big people scared of spiders? And big people is somebody who's bigger than me. And I don't mean fatter. I mean just, can kick my ass. I'll tell you what, man. Marcus, are you ready to start painting your own crosses, or are you already doing that? That's some empowering shit right there. In numbers too. I'm painting my own decals from now on. It saves me so much time. I can get exactly the decal I want by just making it. Not on the printer. That's another pain in the ass thing, that another unsatisfactory type thing. All right, let's take my own advice and not add so much black. Yeah, maybe even lighter than this. Maybe even lighter than that. There we go. Something like that. Nothing's darker than this. That's not dark enough. There we go. Let's try this. You've been doing it. I'm surprised how easy it is to do. I mean, you can get it. There's so many times where we want to you need to put one of them on the side of the hull of a Panzer III, and it just isn't big enough. It's just not tall. I mean, it's shorter than this. I mean, those Panzer IIIs have I was going to say the freeboard on a Panzer III. You know what I'm talking about. Above the waterline. It's impossible to get it across that size. And so what do? Well, let me order some in 15 millimeter and hope for the best and wait a week for them to get here. And nope, those don't work either, or the decals are no good, or I don't have to deal with petting house decals anymore if I just paint my own. So if you had to buy houses, you would get those war games, whatever those are called, those war games 3D houses before you battle. I don't know what they're called, battle something or another, battle. The ones you got, your little French village, you would get stuff from them before you would go and hunt down like the Pegasus Russian houses. Because somebody's selling the Pegasus Russian houses for like $15 with shipping for both houses. I'd say 750. That's not too bad. Not for all of them, but just to have those two. Although, if I was building a Russian village, I could make a case that it would be more than likely the houses would be wrecked more than they would be not wrecked. The Ulfman. I think the battle honors are great. Did you compare them to Patrick? I think you got some stuff from Patrick. This Patrick 3D printing is more grainy. The Earthman, you on your lunch break? Or you guys get St. Patrick's Day off across the pond? So I was looking at those little, I almost said cardboard, those little MDF houses that they're selling on AliExpress. You can buy them on you can buy them on eBay. You can actually buy them on Amazon. I'd rather buy things through Amazon. I feel like their buyer protection is second to none with Amazon. Not only is it easy to return, but you don't even have to go to a certain store. You just take them to the post office. Here, you freaking deal with it. All right, that looks pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's get the black drippings and put the little dots on this. I'm not sure what it is. It might be the intake. It might be the engine intake. God drop. Have a great day. Eat. Okay, Phil. You have Patrick Stalingrad buildings, also good, but I think Battle Honors might be a notch better. Good morning, folks. Have to start the work day. All right, you too, man. I suspect I'll probably be on at night tonight with whiskey in hand. I think I have some whiskey with the E in it. I think I have some whiskey with the E. I definitely have some whiskey without the E. And as much as I like to say I like to talk about drinking, I would not want to like have anything to drink while I'm trying to run a game of Face a Battle or something like that. I'm like, we got to use all our brain. You do so. I never really considered wargaming and drinking to go together because I was always thinking I was playing a war game. Like, you know, this is too. Not too intense, but too, I got to pay attention. All right, let's get the rusty drippings. This isn't a good one, is it? No. The best one, I should say. The one we do with the final details for the face. All right, let's go ahead and start with the body of this first. I've been really happy with these quick shades. Actually, all of them. One of these, light tone, is really, really thick. I was almost like the consistency of like pesto or something like that. It was really, really thick. But you can cut them with water pretty well. But I was having my doubts whether I had, made a poor decision using them. But no, I've been pretty happy with them. I'm back here where all the drippings are from the tranny. The drippings from the what? And I haven't sealed it yet, so these will look a lot better when the thing I'm the most thrilled about is I use this figure. I've had this figure. This I don't know if it's in the camera. You can see him, but this guy, and I have several of them. I think I have three or four. They came with like the Panzer IV from Eschi. I think the Broom Bar had one of them, and the Jag Panzer IV. And he's like sitting, just hanging out on the turret, and I'm like, well, that's a stupid pose. And I'm looking through them like that guy sits perfectly on that stupid hatch. So that worked out. Go for it, painting. Welcome. Yep, you should just go for it and start painting. I got to remind myself of that. Like sometimes you're like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Well, if you don't start painting, you'll never figure out. Just have at it. Have at you painting. Stop questioning your ability and just jump in and start and paint your way out. And I think I am going to make some destroyed vehicles. I think I'm going to take those vehicles that are just that I got that I basically got them for free, and they're like destroyed. And I'm probably going to build like that comet that I have. I have a comet that just looks like it took a penetrating hit, and I'm actually going to try to put it together as best I can, and then show it knocked out. Benjamin Christensen, greetings from the field hospital. Oh, meanwhile in Denmark, welcome. Field hospital. You work at a field hospital? I always wondered if people worked at a place like a emergency room, a doctor's office, something like that, if they would just get so burnt out of helping people that when you get down to your own tribe, you know, your own people at home, that you're tired of helping people. So like you're wasting all of your helping energy on people that aren't part of your family. I mean, I guess that's what you get paid for, but I don't know. I mean, that's just me looking at it as an outsider, you know? Yeah. Oh, just ill for the fifth day in a row. Oh man. Well, hopefully you're just ill enough to go to work but can still paint. One can hope. Yeah, have you ever encountered anybody in Denmark that has a World War II Danish army? Because one of the companies actually makes figures for them. The Early War Miniatures makes a whole set of Danes with like bicycle troops and everything. I think it's pretty extensive. Actually, working from home today while watching you paint. Okay, well, I wish I could stay longer, but I got to go to the salt mines myself. I've never gotten a chance to work from home, ever. And I've worked this place for, well, let's see, at the end of April, it'll be 31 years. So I'm pretty sure I'm never going to get a chance to do that there. I know one guy that retired from there, and he supposedly is working part time, like from home, doing other odds and things. I don't think that's going to be me. Once I'm like retired from this place, no gray area, all or nothing. I either work there or I don't. Well, you kind of work. Nope. But the one thing that keeps me from not quitting, well, there's many things that keep me from not quitting. One of them is I have overhead. I got bills to pay, right? But the main thing that keeps me from not quitting is I don't think about the place while I'm not there. Like on the weekend, I don't ever think about it. When I leave for work, I don't think about it. And if I didn't have that, I'd probably go crazy. That's why I don't understand how people can like have their own business because you'd have to be thinking about your business all the time. So you never get a mental reprieve from it. And if my business was maybe painting little tanks, then I'd probably be okay with it. But if my business is something and I'm not really interested in, I just do it because it's what you got to do for a living. And that would be kind of torturous, you know, because I could do this all day and I wouldn't mind. I almost did yesterday. I think between the two painting sessions, I was probably on about close to 10 hours. But there's one thing I like about this. I'm doing this and I'm not eating the house. Like I'm staying busy. I'm staying busy mentally and physically. Now, this looks like something that would rust. So it rained one day and the water stayed in there and it dripped out that way. Drippy Dripplestein. Drippy Dripplestein in the rust buckets. I actually like this is one of the things I like the most is actually putting these little rusty stains. It just adds some personality that you wouldn't get otherwise. Man, extra work on the weekends, etc. But it's something different from the 9 to 5 work. Got a lot of stuff to paint for a 1940 battle of. Oh man, let me see. 1940 battle of Gayabas. You're running an event. Gayabas. I've never heard of that before. Two different jobs. Your primary full time. You job at a travel agency. Oh, I would love to have that job. Um, and then my freelance job as a writer for the history magazine. I like the history magazine part. I don't like the writer part. Um, See, the problem with working as a travel agent is you don't really need that job anymore. Because, like, man, that that's a cool job. Hopefully, you're making a good living at it. That's a cool. I would love to do that. But there's the travel agency that's been in town forever. I don't think we've ever used them. And the thing is my wife kind of does that kind of a job for the last couple companies she's been at. She's been a travel coordinator, so she does a lot of the travel agency stuff, which comes in real handy with tips and stuff like that when we do our own personal travel. And I do map related travel delivery things. So like I'm very like, we went to Europe and I basically ran the map. Okay, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go on this day, this time we're gonna go over here, we're gonna see this, and and I'm like, I'm a pre Google Maps person. Like I'd be able to do it before Google Maps got existed. Now with Google Maps, even better because now so you see where you are all the time. You're like, hey, what's that over there? I know it looks like there's a castle. Let's drive over there, kind of thing. So um, yeah, I'm really good with maps. I got that from my dad. And I'm talking about the old school maps, not even, all the stuff that they make things where like everybody is a maestro now, you know. Like I'll run ways and stuff like that just to find out where the cops are, but I don't need it for directions. But then you probably spend a lot of time dealing with customers that are a pain in the ass or having to negotiate with people that don't listen. Like there's a problem maybe with somebody's accommodation. Let me talk to the manager. Well, they're not here right now. Like you can't get anywhere. Like beating your head into doors. I can imagine that being an issue. So maybe that part of it's not as grand as I think it might be. There's always stuff that's a pain in the ass of any job you do. And a lot of jobs it's CYA stuff. Well, we got to have this. We got to put this thing up so nobody gets hurt. If they can, they don't sue us, and we have to have this other. Too many jobs run into stuff like that. So you was misspelling the Battle of Galabat. Still doesn't help me. I've never heard of it before. British attempt to open a route in Ethiopia. Wow, that's interesting. Now you're a writer for the travel agency. I write the description of our trips. You do group travels, make newsletters, etc. Yeah, I just I just write into writing. I didn't have good training in how to write, and I don't enjoy it. And I think that things that happen to you in your youth, that scar you in your youth, that come and bite you back later, is one of the things that happened for me. And the punishments that I got as a kid was I had to write sentences. So as soon as I catch wind that something is busy work or a punishment or anything like that, I'm just refused to do it. I don't like to write things just to write. And I didn't have proper training. Like I didn't pay attention, like making a rough draft. Like I'm doing these numerals, right? And we're sketching everything. We're kind of planning everything. Like that I can do. Like for a paper, it's just like I just don't think it's worth my time. And it is worth your time, but I just don't. I don't have that in me. You know, it doesn't mean I can't write. I write better emails than anybody else at work because I want them to solve problems. So, but an email is not a paper. Where you have to. I have problems explaining things to people because I don't know where to start because I don't know where the background information is. And if I start too early with things that are too generalized, then I get bored as the writer trying to explain things that you should already fucking know, you know? And if I start too specific, then nobody can follow along what I'm doing. Does that make sense? It's not that I don't like to find out information. I do. I like it a lot, or discover new things, or to learn. I just don't want to write about it. I'd rather just, hey, let's have a conversation. Although sometimes I say something that's not what I meant because your mouth is going faster than your brain, which for some of us isn't that hard. But I've never enjoyed writing because of that. That doesn't mean I'm not a good speller or, anything else. But good for you. I think it's a good habit to that and typing. I never took typing in school. So I type faster than I write by hand, but I make a lot of mistakes too. I dyslexic letters, you know. I'll instead of typing orange, I'll type orange or orange, sorry. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to be a bit of a perfectionist and then like being incompetent in the process of it and having to like double and triple check your work so you don't make a silly error. It's just another form of annoyance, you know. What does it do? I do for work. Well, I don't like to talk about work. I'm in charge of shipping concrete products for a company. We'll leave it at that. And and I've been there a long time and we got some new folks. So I end up like finding all kinds of stuff that I don't mind helping people out, but man, there's some people that are just, they don't learn from their mistakes, you know? So, and we got this new system that changed everything we've done before in last October that has all kinds of, it basically makes the stuff that we were doing 5 times harder than it was before. And it supposedly benefits somebody. I don't know who the hell it benefits, but everybody else is frustrated with it. Kind of thing like I need to change this and I can't because I don't have authorization. Somebody else has to, bureaucracy shit that we've never really had where I work. So, um, but one of the most fun things I do at work is I make up directions for things. I'm really good at that. And like I'm interested in that. Like that interests me. Like I go on Google Maps. All right, where's this place? What's the best way to get there? You know, I love that. I love doing that. And I told people that's the only fun part of my job. And it's stuff that other people don't care about. They're like, just go here. Here's the address. Go there. I'm like, dude, you're like taking all the fun. And I do it just so nobody can call me. Hey, I can't find this place. And look, I already gave you all the tools and told you exactly where it is. I call that the only fun thing I get to do at work. But that's because I love geography stuff, even more than history. Even more than history. I love maps. Okay, we're about done with this little Panzer guy. We got to paint this. I got to find out what color this little bumper thing is on the top. It's going to be either brown leather or black leather, and then paint both of them. And then this guy's about done. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of these guys and I'll post it on my Facebook page. I'm going to shoot it at an angle that you can't see this little bumper thing, so it looks like it's completely complete. All right, folks, that's where we're going to stop. And this is so cool. Yeah, well, check me out tomorrow. I'll be on tonight and tomorrow morning. Yeah, yeah, and they look like shit here in the view. They look pretty good. I'm very nearsighted, so I'm seeing things that you guys can't see, unfortunately, and it can't look like crap up close because then I would have to like blindfold myself, like I'd have to fool myself into thinking that it looks a certain way. So, um, and we've been doing this a while. I actually have only been painting tanks for a couple of years, but I've been painting stuff for a long, long time, and I learned a lot of stuff by seeing other people's stuff that's painted on the internet, and you know, we do it all here. So if you want something you want to know, ask, and we'll do the best to keep moving the ball forward. All right, folks, we will see you guys later this evening, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, let's be unique, kind of how we say that, and we'll see you guys this evening. All right, folks, bye bye.